Next, we've got an interesting guest joining us. We're going to be talking all things law. That's why you see today, I'm looking quite dapper, trying to fit into.
I know the spaces.
Fit into the spaces. I hope you think I'm going to figure ZTN. Anyway, we are joined by Tafara Charambira, who's the acting district public prosecutor in the National Prosecuting Authority, that is the NPA. And before we get into him, thank you, PG Lois Matanda Moyo, for giving us your lieutenant this morning to just have a chat with him and just get a better understanding of the law, some of the questions we might have, right, Marissa?
Right, we have some questions for you. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
I'm some quote you can be serious, you're not. You can be.
Right, Tafara. Now, we understand, obviously, that the fight against corruption is not only in your hands. There are various stakeholders as well that are involved in this. That's including ZAC. We have the ZRP as well, the JSC. Now, how are you, as NPA, contributing to this fight? And, or rather, what is your working relationship with these other arms?
Interesting. Thanks for that question. Now, the way I take it, the fight against corruption is like a relay. So you have ZAC, you have ZRP. What they are doing out there is they are arresting people. Mm-hmm. The moment they arrest people, they have to bring them before the court. And that's when the NPA comes into play. Basically, what we do is, after getting information, after getting the cases, the dockets, we prosecute on behalf of the Prosecutor General. We bring the actual cases before the judges and the magistrates to say, this is what we have, this is the evidence that we have. So basically, we are like the last line in a very long chain of Chapter 13 institutions that are mandated to fight corruption in the country.
Right. I like the way he said relay.
Relay, I was like, all right. So I'm guessing first it could be, like you said, the police, the ZRP, or the anti-corruption committee. But I also know that the JSC set up an anti-corruption court. How is that tying into what you guys do as the NPA?
The NPA, in response, has also then mandated special anti-corruption prosecutors. These are prosecutors who are solely waiting for anti-corruption cases. I understand, like you're saying, that the JSC has in every province come up with what they call the anti-corruption court. So this is a court whose only mandate, whose only case book is filled with corruption cases. So what the NPA has done in response is come up with, I don't know if I should call them special, but it has come up with the best prosecutors whose only job is to get into work, read anti-corruption dockets, and prosecute anti-corruption cases only.
It's a team corruption, because we've got specialist prosecutors just for you guys. If you're thinking about doing any fraudulent activities,
don't do it.
You've been warned.
Yes, they will get you. But you see, another thing as well that happens is the issue of backlogs. So there's always issue of these cases. There's just a long line of them. What is the cause of the slow movements of these cases?
Maybe one of two things. Number one, corruption is a very specialized, serious, intricate, and well-detailed case to be dealing with for any lawyer, any prosecutor. So what it means is that it's not going to be an easy case to prove for the prosecutor.
Right.
There's going to be loads of hard work. So number one, that is the first issue that you deal with. That this is a specialized type of offense. It's an offense that takes a lot of reading. And then number two, corrupt people usually are the moneyed in our society. So they will hire the best lawyers out there. And any law student will tell you that if there's a lot of evidence against your client, the best thing to do is delay. So this creates a backlog because at the end of the day, we understand that everyone wants it all done and put away. Mm-hmm. Hush, let's go fast. But look at it this way. The NPA operates within the law, within the Criminal Procedure and Evidence Act. So it means that if a lawyer is going to come to court knowing very well there's a lot of evidence, they're going to make a lot of funny applications. They're going to seek postponements. So this sort of like creates a backlog. But what we have done as the NPA is that using the specialized prosecutor I was talking about, is we have given priority and mandate to corruption cases. And the hope and belief is that going forward, the backlog that you speak of shall be a thing of the past.
No, I like that you've really highlighted this and maybe just pointed out some of the gamesmanship that we see from lawyers and people, obviously the moneyed in society, as you put it. But we do understand that the Prosecutor General herself, she's got a zero tolerance to the postponement of cases. So what is the current status in terms of that?
Now, the Honorable Prosecutor General has, like you said, introduced a new culture in the NPA. She says that going forward now, no case will be postponed because of a reason proffered by the NPA. What we simply mean is that you're not going to go into any court and hear the prosecutor being the one saying, I'm not ready. She has said prosecutors must be ready all the time. Prosecutors must be well read all the time. So what we will have is you getting into court and the prosecutor saying, I'm ready, let's start. Because what the Prosecutor General is trying to fight there is the issue of institutionalized corruption, where people get tired of coming to court. People get tired of coming in and waiting and being given another date. So the Prosecutor General has come in and she has said, we do not postpone matters. If a lawyer comes up and they want a postponement, as long as their reason is not as provided for in the law, our prosecutors have been told to oppose all those applications. So, to the earlier question, this then means that we are, in a way, fighting the ever-increasing backlog that we've been facing.
So, I mean, I'm big on sport. That's my primary area of focus. So, this is basically like Borat Gati, yellow card for time wasting. We're not
entertaining.
Yeah.
Right, so we often hear of that the phrase catch and release, especially when the suspect is granted bail. So put us into the picture of what happens at court pertaining to this.
Catch and release, catch and release. You don't often hear it. You journalists created it.
Blame it on us.
He's pointing at us.
That's you guys. Well, basically what happens is, it's understandable that when a person is arrested, there's a big graft case. People, or Zach says, we have arrested a very prominent person for corruption, 55 million. They'll tell the world today. It's common and it's understandable that the world believes that the moment that person gets to court, they should be put in custody. It's very common for any lay person. But you see, we live in a society where people have rights. So even if you're an accused person, you have rights. And one of our constitutionally enshrined rights in Zimbabwe is the right to be granted bail, the right to attend court when you're coming from home. Unless and only unless the prosecution has got cogent and compelling reasons which do not justify or which justify you being incarcerated. So when people say catch and release, yes, it looks like a person has been arrested and the NPA is released. But no. Person has been arrested. If the NPA has reasons, we will oppose bail. At times we succeed, at times we don't. And ultimately, justice will be served in that after the trial, if indeed a person is guilty, very well, they are welcomed into Chikurubi maximum prison.
You know, he did say, obviously, this is a term that has been coined by journalists, catch and release. Maybe as a point of clarity on that, you know, what has been, you spoke about how difficult it is for a corruption case to see its conclusion. So in terms of maybe the MPA's ability and maybe conviction rate, like how has that worked for you guys? If you were able to convict the cases that you guys thought these are winnable cases?
Indeed. Our annual returns will show that over the past year, that's 2023, corruption cases were a conviction rate of slightly above 75%. So if we are grading ourselves, we got an A. Not an A+, but we have an A. So the conviction rate, fair and well, we're doing well. The only issue is that our legislation, you know, it allows for the dragging of cases. Like I said earlier, I come into court and I have a very rich lawyer, and I have a very good lawyer, and I have stolen a lot of money. Obviously, there are going to be all kinds of funny applications, application for review, referral to the Constitutional Court. People expose and they do all those applications, but ultimately, the conviction rate has been very high.
We also hear of the asset forfeiture arm. And like, I've got a lot of interest in this because you hear, like, how is it working and what's the current status in regards to that particular part of the NPA?
The essence of any criminal justice system should be to say that crime does not pay. So when we speak asset forfeiture, we are saying that, let's say we hear that you committed a crime. And after committing a crime, you went and you bought yourself 10 buses. So if we are to simply prosecute you and we convict you, and we send you to prison for, let's say, 5 years, you're going to go to prison for 5 years, but 5 years later, you're going to come back owning 10 buses. Maybe if you have a good business manager while he's in prison, you'll have 20 passes. So asset forfeiture, we are simply saying crime should not pay at any level. You commit a crime, you obtain property, you obtain assets, we go after those and we get them.
And you guys have the power to do that?
Yes. We very much have the power to do that. And our asset forfeiture unit in the NPA has been doing great things. There are a lot of houses, all those houses you're seeing in the mountains, most of them we've taken them back. We sell them and the general public benefits.
This is what my next question was. Like, okay, so what then happens to those houses? What happens to the money? What happens? What is it?
When you forfeit
is it
those
criminal
assets, yeah.
money? Or
This is money that has been obtained from the criminal. So basically, to explain it in the simplest of terms, the assets are sold, the money is put into the reserve bank, and it generates just like any other money belonging to the public. It's our money anyway.
it's our money anyways. But listen, this is all very exciting stuff that happens in your field. But you know, if a person has issues or complaints, how do we get in touch with the NPA?
Interesting, yes. The NPA used to be so quiet. We never really used to be big on social media, but that has changed. You can reach us on our Twitter handle. It's at NPAZIM. The feedback we've been getting so far is wonderful. You can reach us on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page, National Prosecuting Authority of Zimbabwe. And we have a cell number that is answered 24/7, anytime. But please do call us with serious issues. Here's the number, 0719 390
All right.
Get in touch with us. We value the people's feedback, and we've also taken a stance where, as the NPA, we want people to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, we prosecute on behalf of the Prosecutor General, but for the people of Zimbabwe.
All right, before I let you go, you did highlight several issues, but I'm saying now, you talk about houses. Like, if I'm living at the bottom of the mountain, and I know that the other guy at the top of the mountain has been dealing in corrupt case or has fraudulently acquired his wealth, if I can put it like that. You did talk about the relay, the ZRP and
JSC.
and ZAC as well. Is that the route to go? Can I come directly to the NPA and say, you know what, I think the Prosecutor General, I think this is a cause for investigation, or it has to start with the police first before we come to the NPA?
Ideally, obviously, it should start with the investigative arms of the state, ZRP, ZAC. That's the ideal situation. But if you go to our constitution, it actually empowers the Prosecutor General to cause an investigation. So let's say for some reason you want to approach the PG, she's very open. The NPA has got offices, I think, in all of the 62 districts in the country. So you approach any of our offices, we direct you to the right person up until justice has been served.
Absolutely fantastic there. Yeah, learned quite a lot.
Quite a lot. Very
I'm not
exciting.
sure if that qualifies me as a lawyer quite yet, but you know, just getting some information in regards to how the National Prosecuting Authority, who stand for us as Zimbabweans, have been doing their work, some of the things that they've been putting in place.
And, you know, we just want to give kudos to the PG, you know, doing such a great job. Miss Honorable Lois Matanda Moyo, thank you once again for bringing Tafara to us. Thank you so much for all this information that you have given us. I don't want to be a whistleblower, though.
Oh, why?
Very scared.
No, I'm actually thinking, he talked about people on top of mountains.
Yeah.
We're on top of a building, so I hope we're not under investigation.
Konapo, Ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.